Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to talk about how do you fire people the right way. Now in the previous video we talked about how to give people tough feedback when they're not performing the right way. And unfortunately sometimes the situation is beyond feedback, right? Now in an ideal world, when you fire someone, then they still walk away feeling okay, right? Maybe they even feel a sense of relief and positivity about the future and about you and the company, right? They still respect you and they feel respected. And it is possible because I've had to let go of people in the past, and to this day I get, they message me sometimes about like, hey Aman, how you doing? Congratulations on this and that, on like LinkedIn for example. And we are still like friendly with each other, right? So it is possible, and that's what I hope happens for every person that you have to let go in the future, because you will have to let go of people, right? I mean, if you don't, that's amazing, right? I mean, I could learn from a thing or two from you if you'd never have to fire somebody and you're really happy with all your employees. But there are also many wrong ways to fire people, right? If you do it the wrong way, then things can go seriously haywire, all right? They might get traumatized, it might shatter their self-confidence, and it's going to affect their whole career in the future, and maybe even their personal life, right? Or on another note, they might sue you, and like they might be vengeful, try to hurt you in the future, right? You don't want somebody walking away from your company with a huge bag of negativity. Now, a caveat there is that we are talking about performance related firing only in this video, right? We are not talking about somebody who happens to be a drug addict, doing cocaine in the bathroom, or, doing something otherwise unethical or illegal and just being a prick, for example, right? If this is about an employee being a dickhead, then the conversation could be a lot harder to predict. And I have no idea how they would react when you break the news to them. They might threaten you, they might revolt, they might start arguing, fighting with you. I don't know. I'm not an expert in dickheads, right? I don't know how they think, I don't know how they react, right? How they see the world. So maybe you should have a lawyer in the room, and maybe the lawyer will tell you what to do, what to say and stuff like that. So anyway, coming back to the discussion, how do you fire people the right way, right? The first thing, your homework before you fire them, is to understand that it is mostly your fault as the founder. And by the way, I'm assuming that you are also their manager. If there are if there's another manager in the mix, in between you and them, then that just complicates things, right? There's one more variable, which again creates a whole lot of possibilities about what really happened, or so we're not going to get into that. So anyway, it's mostly your fault, because here's the thing: you hired them, they went through your hiring process, and now the fact that you want to fire them means that you hired somebody that you couldn't even manage to train or coach properly, right? And if you don't think that that's mostly your fault, then there's something seriously wrong and fucked up about you as an entrepreneur and how you see the world, all right? It's not like you were a chimpanzee throwing bananas at a bunch of people and seeing like you would hire the person who the banana hit, right? So it's your fault. You put them in that role, and when it's your fault, then you also need to pay up for your mistake, right? And what that usually means is giving them a generous severance package. At least it should be 1 month, because you want people to have a soft landing, right? And on top of that, you also want to offer them other bonuses that they that would help them have a soft landing. For example, I don't know, if it in America, for example, it was like health insurance, because health insurance is really expensive and employees don't want to lose their coverage so quickly all of a sudden, right? So it could be health insurance, it could be something else, right? It could be if you're paying for their rent as a company, then maybe you want to pay for a little more rent separately, right? So 1 month's salary is definitely something you should pay, and then other bonuses that they also would could use to have a soft landing, right? Next, let's get tactical. How do you actually conduct that meeting, right? So you first invite them to a face-to-face meeting, and don't tell them what the meeting is about, right? if things are at that stage, then they probably already begin to suspect, like, hey, what's this meeting about? Why, what are we going to talk about? Whatever. And they fear the worst, right? Don't lie and don't confirm their suspicions because, do you really want to tell people? Anyway, whatever, right? Now, as soon as the meeting begins, and should be a face-to-face meeting, right? Or ideally, at least a Zoom meeting. Don't fire people over email. Don't fire them over a phone call. Ideally, I would say it should be a video call because at least that way, once the meeting is over, they have some space to themselves, right? They don't have to walk out of the office with you looking at them and with other people looking at them or something, and have to walk all the way back home, right? Like, you just it's much more physical that way, and you want to avoid that, right? If they are in a place where they feel safe and they can have some quiet time, then that's always better, right? So now, once the meeting begins, you want to start by telling them that this is going to be a tough meeting, right? You want them to brace themselves because you don't just say I'm firing you, whatever, right? Say that this is going to be a tough meeting, a difficult meeting, whatever, so that they brace themselves. Then I want you to cut to the chase, straight up, and give them your decision from the get-go, right? I have decided to remove you from this role or this position or whatever, right? You can also say, if you have the balls, that I have decided to fire you, right? It's a very strong statement, but I don't know about different people can handle it and some people cannot, but a lot of people will really appreciate you saying it to them directly, right? And if you do it sincerely, then people will see that you are owning up and talking to them face to face, right? Now, when you say that, don't apologize for firing them, right? Don't say, I'm really sorry, but we have to fire you, or but I've decided, whatever, right? If anything, if you want to apologize, then apologize for letting the situation come to the point where you have to make the decision, right? But don't apologize for the decision itself. I'm really sorry for that it had to come to this stage where we couldn't help you at all, right? Whatever. But don't say I'm sorry for firing you or I'm sorry for, but like don't say I'm sorry, but, right? Nobody cares about your but, all right? Now, next. This so far has not even taken 60 seconds, right? So within the first 60 seconds, you have told them that it's a tough conversation and that you've fired them, right? And now you want to acknowledge that it's your fault for not being able to create an environment for them where they can produce their best work, right? And that's true, right? And that you have no idea how to help them, whatever, right? And that it's best if they move on to a different opportunity. Now, this has taken you about another, like maybe 60 seconds, right? So you have only spent 2 minutes so far. Now, at this point, once you've told them that they're fired and that it's your fault, the employee has gotten the main message of the meeting already, right? And now their mind is racing towards, safety related issues like where's my next paycheck gonna come from? They're thinking about the future and about their family, right? So now you want to instantly switch gears into logistics. We want to offer you this many months of severance, right? Always talk about it in time. You're buying them time. Don't use a dollar amount like we're going to give you X dollars in severance, right? Dollars don't communicate a sense of safety, okay? If you say we're giving you 1 month of runway or 1 month of severance pay, 2 months of salary, don't even say severance, just say 2 months of salary to help you have a soft cushion, and then tell them what other bonuses you've also decided to offer them, right? It should take you another 60, maybe 120 seconds to communicate what benefits or what severance package they're getting. And now at this point, you've covered the main basis, right? So they've understood what's happening. They've understood that they're safe, that they have a soft cushion, right? And ideally, they do have a generous severance package because, remember what I told you. Now, at this point, their brain is out of panic mode, and you can start to have a real conversation about their history at the company and the future, and rebuild the relationship in a way that they feel positive after walking out, right? So now you want to first start by telling them positive feedback, right? What did you really love about them? What did you love about their work, about them? Tell them about their good qualities, right? They probably have some if you hired them, right? If they don't, then fuck you, right? Whatever. So they have some good qualities, and after talking about their good qualities, then you say using this kind of language, however, I was not able to see XYZ. Don't rub it in their face. Just say I wasn't able to see XYZ, which is something that you wanted to see, right? Don't be a fucking complainer. Don't complain and rant to people who are leaving your company. Okay? Like, it's just basic decency, right? So this way they have some positive feedback, and you should probably watch my other video about how to give tough feedback in a good way, in the right way, and that will overlap with what I'm going to talk about here. Even if this person was the laziest person you've ever met or hired, whatever, right? You don't want to say that. You want to say that, it just didn't seem that the work was interesting or motivating enough for them, right? So again, it's kind of partly your fault, right? And you want to phrase everything in a way that it's more positive and towards their future than about tearing them down, right? Now, if they're emotional about this, and if you think that you probably have a relationship with them, you can also add that being fired from a role or being let go from a job is not a reflection on their self-worth in any way, all right? It simply means that in this particular role, in this company, in this circumstance, and with you as their manager, the whole situation didn't fit right for them and they weren't able to do their best work, right? It does not make them untalented or unable to perform, whatever. And it doesn't mean that their next job will also suffer, right? If you have some feedback for them, things they can do better, that's different. But just just verbalize it to them that they don't have to take it on their self-worth if they're that kind of person, right? You probably know if they are or not, but it doesn't hurt to say that anyway, right? Now, after that, you could ask them what feedback they have for you and for your company, right? Give them a chance to say something to you, okay? They might say something, they might not, but just give them a chance, to talk out loud about their experience. How do they see it? If you can learn something, please learn it, because people who are leaving your company will often tell you the truth that people who are still working in the company will not say to you, right? So use this as a chance for your own personal growth as well, okay? Um, but if they're arguing with you or whatever, if the conversation is going in the wrong way, whatever, right, then, I mean, do whatever you can do. You can't predict, you can't plan for that stuff, but, what you can say in the end is, now I don't want to keep you any longer because I want to give you the time to process this. But we'll be in touch over email or whatever, and you can always ask for help, right? And so let's part ways here. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right, simple as that, right? And you could even use this to end the conversation if they're going ballistic, because there's really nothing you could do in that, right? You don't want to get into an argument, right? So let's do a recap of what we discussed. First, it's your fault. Acknowledge that it's your fault for letting the situation get to that stage, and that you should prepare a hefty, a healthy compensation, like a severance package for them, right? Then, when you call the meeting with them, be straight up, like, hey, this is going to be a difficult conversation, and then I've decided to let you go or fire you or remove you from the project, whatever. Then tell them, it's mostly your fault, because they're still reeling from the shock, right? Why did this happen? What's going on, right? Then you say it's mostly your fault because, for putting them in a situation where they're not able to put their best work. Now they are feeling scared, so you want to tell them about the logistics. This is what we're offering you. Don't talk about dollar amounts. Give them how much time you're buying them, like 2 months of salary, 3 months of salary, 1 month of salary, whatever, right? To give them a soft landing. Then once they've cooled down, they are feeling a little more secure, then you talk about, what you see and what you didn't see, what you saw and what you didn't see in their journey at the company. Ask them for their feedback. Reassure them that it's not something that they should take on their self-worth. It's not the end of the world. It's just one company, one job, one boss, right? Just reassure them, right? And end the meeting. Say that, you don't want to keep them any longer. You want to give them time and space to process. If they have any questions, they can get back to you. Let's part ways here, okay? So hopefully this video was helpful. This framework has helped me a lot in having healthy relationships with people, even those who I've had to let go from my company. And hopefully, I mean, if you're somebody who is watching this, who used to work with me, who have let go, then feel free to leave a comment for the other viewers of this video and tell them about your experience and what do you remember that conversation being like. Yeah, that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, do check out my book, Fluent CEO. There are some free chapters in the description. Hope you enjoy it and have a nice day.